Video about some quick steps. The videos that Thrashin puts out, are there any steps missing? Are there any things that, like, you know, a DIYer might need to do differently? And then also we're gonna talk about fitment. So I'm 5'6", just 5'6", like barely 5'6", okay? You know, I'm a short dude. It is what it is, right? So I went down the rabbit hole and I bought the brand new triple tree that Thrashin put out. I also bought 6-inch risers, pullbacks, with a 1-inch adapter spacer to give it a 7.5. Here comes the triple tree. You know, you can bring the bars 1.35 inch closer. I think it was 1.35. Yeah, stoked on that, right? So I order that. Then I start realizing, uh-oh, I had a problem. Everyone who's using those, which at the time is pretty much Thrashin and 2-lane that I've been able to find, it pulls them closer, but that triple tree is slanted downward. So as it's pulling it closer, it's going down a little bit, right? But that little bit matters when you're talking about fitment on a Harley Davidson. So now I'm like, okay, the 7-inch is probably not gonna work. 7.5, forgive me. I keep saying 7, it's 7.5 because it's a 6.5 pullback and we're adding an inch. So 7.5 pullback, man, I really like that 8-inch crosshead. So then I go and buy the 9.5 pullback from Thrashin. Okay, so my bike is sitting on a jack. I'm gonna leave the kickstand out, but I don't think it's going anywhere. I'm gonna throw a leg over it. And I'm gonna put both feet up on the boards. I feel like my seat's a little closer than it usually is. Okay, so this is pretty much what I look like right here, right? So I can lean back, I'm in a nice upright position. My arms are straight though, like I'm pretty straight. So when I'm riding, I'm sort of like this, or I'll be chilling with one. I can bend a little bit like this. As you can see, I also put a blanket over my gas tank. I don't have an expensive gas tank cover, so we're just gonna roll with that. All right, let's get to it. What's up, guys? We're back again in the garage. So I got the stock triple tree on with the 7-inch setup, 7.5 inches setup, and we have the mid-rise bars right here. So I'm gonna take a seat on the bike. The backrest is in the exact same location it's been, and I'm gonna show you where this puts me. So as you can see, I am leaning forward to be comfortable. This is definitely not comfortable. This is not a comfortable position for me. I need longer arms if I were to run this. I'm assuming the 9s would come about here, probably. I'm hoping I can get about here. If I can get about here, we're good. We'll be in the same spot I would be with the stock setup. So it looks like we're going to be using the Thrashin triple tree. So I'm not even gonna go put the 9s on this. There's no way, I can tell you right now. It would feel okay, but it would be a reach, I feel like. I feel like it's gonna be. So if we went up a little bit, naturally come out. Yeah, we're just gonna go, I'm gonna just go with the triple tree. I know I said I was gonna show all this, but the thing is, what I did is I put the triple tree, the stock one, I've tightened it back up on the forks relatively, because I got to pull the front wheel and we got to pull my fork tubes down a little bit to be able to get it on. So we're gonna do that right now, and then I'm gonna take this one off, and then I can put that Thrashin one back on, because with my short reach, it's just not gonna work. That's about the difference between the 7 and the 9. Alright guys, bike looks a little bit different. Nothing here, the fork tubes are pushed down because we're putting the Thrashin triple tree on. I'm doing it by myself, so I used a box with some foam to hold the forks as they came down. I moved each one nice and slowly. I left the bolts in the lower triangle not tight, but like enough to where I could just sort of, the forks won't totally tank through. So a little friction. And then the box is holding it because it did drop a little bit. The lower tree with the bearing and all that, but that's okay. It's exactly where I want it. And then what I can do from here is we're gonna get the lock and everything put on that new one. And then I'll place that on, throw the head nut in it like they did on Thrashin. And then we'll push those back through, get the tree all aligned and everything like that. And then we'll be right back to where we were. So this install is not going too bad. It's just piece by piece, but working on a new bike is easy because nothing's stuck. Nothing's frozen as far as the bolts go. So, all right, we'll get back to it. Little update shortly. We got this put together pretty much how Thrashin recommends. So I got this piece. I opted for the forged carbon because I already got the forged carbon fender. So we went that route. Everything's on here. These are barely tight, but I do like what Cole said. Give these a little torque so that way it straightens everything, and then when you put this on, it's true to itself. So we're gonna toss this on now and see if I can't get my head bearing to pull the forks back, or the triple tree back up a little bit and compress the bearings before I go eat dinner. So let's see how this goes. We're in the closest holes. Got the fork pulled back up. You can put your hand through here and do this. You can definitely do this by yourself. It's not the easiest, but it's possible. So I have the 9.5s on. I got this torqued down. And then what I did is I just threw it at like 7 pounds. And then what I did is I got my fork set. In order to do that, I got one sort of set where I wanted. I pushed one up, let it be loose so I could rotate the legs. And I started putting my through axle through. These lower legs do rotate a little bit to allow for a little play when you're putting the through axle through. But overall, I put that bolt through to ensure that it's straight. And then it took me a little bit to get these set identically. Pretty flush, side to side. Yeah, the light might be playing some tricks right now. That looks, there's a little lip on them. And that does a 45-degree angle, so it makes it's like looking like they're really much further up. But they both have a tiny lip where I can feel that 45-degree angle. So we got that dialed. So me being me, I got the electronic copy of the Harley Davidson service manual, which you can get for 20 bucks, which I think is really cool. So we're gonna torque the brake caliper bolts to 45 foot-pounds. The fork pinch bolts will be anywhere between 16 to 18. I'm gonna shoot for probably 17. The steer stem pinch up top, the pinch is 26 right in front of the steer stem. The front wheel nut is at 75 foot-pounds. These are all foot-pounds right now. And the pinch bolt on the front wheel is 22 foot-pounds. The only thing not covered in that is the actual steer stem nut. And it says it's in inch pounds, which my wrench doesn't have that. So I did Newton meters, which shows 7.9, which is like super loose. So I did what they did on Thrashin, coming from the mountain bikes, gravel bikes, all that stuff. You can compress that steer stem a little bit more. It's not gonna kill the bearing. So I got this one, I think it's at 10 foot-pounds. And it's just like it can barely just hold itself, not totally. So, but there's that little bit of friction in there, just a little, which I'm sure that'll wear off as soon as the wheel's on. So that's where I went. So it's right around 10 foot-pounds. At first I had it 7.5, and it felt like it needed just a little bit more. It was so sloppy. So we'll see how that is. What is up, guys? We're back in the garage this morning. Last night I got the bars wired off of the camera. So those are on. I've been test fitting, and I think this is where I want them. They feel pretty good. My shoulders feel like they're pulled forward a little bit. I'd like to be right here. I do have the 1-inch spacer, so I'm gonna put this back together and cruise it around, see how I feel. Actually, I sort of want to put the 1-inch spacers on and see how I feel with that. I feel like this would be perfect for like chilling, but if I'm pounding 5-6 hours, my head positions forward. I want to be pretty flat back. So do I want to put the 1 inch on or not? I think I should try the ones before I plug everything in. So then we're gonna go get the 1 inch spacers and pop these bolts and see how that feels. I feel like it's gonna pull me back. I think it's gonna put me right here. I'll be absolutely perfect. All right, so I'm back. I had to run to Lowe's because I needed some different hardware to run the 1 inch spacers. I got those installed. I have them torqued to spec. Just making sure everything's sitting in here correctly. I should have looked at that before. Everything looks perfect. So I have the 9.5 inch pullback with a 1 inch spacer in the lowest setting on Thrashin's Triple Tree with their mid-bend bars for 2024. I just sat on it with the 9.5 inch rise without the 1 inch spacers. Here it is with the 1 inch spacers. Way better. My arms did not really move up at all like I thought they were gonna do. It just brought it a little bit closer to me. So this absolutely feels prime. Like I can sort of bend my elbows. It's pretty much exactly how the stock bars felt for me. I put my backrest back again. So this is right where it was with the stock bars. So here's my riding position. And I can already tell like this thing's gonna feel so much better. It feels like a mountain bike. My hands are in such a more natural position. So I'm super excited. So what I need to do now, and I think this is the perfect position for my bars for me, I'm gonna torque these down. I think he said 20, 1. And then we are going to get the grips on the controls and then run the sheath over the wires, and this install is concluded. Then we're gonna toss the CBO fairings on. So this is super exciting because this feels better than I could have imagined. This feels absolutely stellar. I'm super excited to ride this bike now. Oh man. Okay, cool. So if you're a shorter dude like yours truly, I would highly recommend you get the Thrashin Triple Tree, lower setting, 1 inch risers, and 9.5 inch pullbacks if you're running their mid bends. It's a perfect setup. It feels almost just like stock, except a way more natural position, which is what I've been after. And now I have to sell my 6.5 inch pullbacks. So if anyone wants them, message me on Instagram at GoSeeIt or my personal at LiveWayOut. I'll hook you up. I need to get rid of them. I bought them because I didn't know what size to use. So I hope this helps you guys because I wasted money and I don't get paid for this. So it was just for knowledge and for myself, mainly myself. But here we are because now I know what works and what doesn't. So now you don't have to. All right, thanks for watching.